All right, so this week we have a very special edition of Sunday Night Conversation. Actually, it's a multiple.
We do?
We do.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh,
I'm
baloney.
just kidding.
So we wanted to do something different than we've done in the past here. Well, this is like our 20th one.
I know, we've done
think.
quite a few of these.
I've lost count.
Yeah.
It's been awesome, and I love that we do these every Sunday,
Yeah.
and we will continue to do so. And so tonight we're starting a series. It's going to be a 3-part series over the course of the next few weeks. And it's something that's very important to us and something that we touch on quite a bit in everything we do. And
Farming.
no,
Oh.
but it pertains to a lot
I
of
guess
it.
some of it does, yeah.
But it talks about the 3 most important things to ourselves.
Ooh, I had to think I know what that is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the people what that is?
Yeah. God, family, and country. That's what your hat says.
It does right there.
Yeah.
And our mug says it right there.
Yes.
We're not afraid. We're not ashamed to talk about that. But we want to really get into the nitty gritty of what each of those things mean to us. And tonight we're going to cover the most important of them all.
Yeah, the very first one we put, God.
G-O-D.
Yeah, big G-O-D.
Yep. So tonight we're gonna get into talking about what God means to us, and when we talk about God, family, country.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, for me personally, is like without God, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't know who I was, where I'd be in life, and without Him, I'd be like, I don't even know. Honestly, I think I'd be lost.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what you're doing with your life. Like, without God, you don't have that anchor, that foundation that you can build everything else upon. I mean,
Yep.
that's pretty much God, Jesus, is why we do what we do.
Yep.
That is our foundation that we build our whole lives upon. And that's why we wanted to talk about God. That's why we started with our series, is God, because He's the most important. Because honestly, like I heard somebody say the most impressive verse in the Bible is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yep.
Because it's true.
Yep.
Everything you see, God created it. There's no reason to worship anything but the
God.
one who created it.
Exactly. And that's the reason why it's so important to us, because it is the end all be all. He is the end all be all, is God. And so we have to touch on it first, because it is the most important thing, but because it's also probably the most controversial thing of those 3 things that we're going to talk about over here the next few weeks. And it's really sad to say that, like, that's what's controversial now.
Yeah, like,
saying God, talking about God.
and that was at one point, and especially in our country, that was just like a common thing.
It was something we all shared, a values. Like, we all believed in something, and that something was God.
Something bigger than any of us and anything here that we can see with our eyes is God. Something that you feel, He's there. He's the hand that's behind all of this that we see every day in our lives.
And that's, I think, that belief that you were just mentioning is, like, that belief of something grander and bigger also is the foundation of what our country was founded on. We'll get into that in a few weeks,
we'll
too.
get deeper into that in the third.
But really, that ideal of, like, there's something bigger, grander that we all believe in comes from the foundation of God. And we all believed it. And now, right now, I know a lot of y'all feel this way. I feel this way. I know you feel this way. It's like, that's missing right now. And why is that missing? Because right now we're in a house that the foundation is cracking, and there's parts like it needs. We almost need to re-slab the whole thing.
And we start with God. That's what
we start with God.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of pushback. We've had a lot of people say, you guys are getting religious. You guys have done this. You guys have changed who you are. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, we haven't changed one single thing of who we are.
Not at all.
I haven't changed who I am. If anything, I've gotten stronger in my faith and stronger in my foundation, stronger in God because of all this. I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who says that, you know what I can tell you is, like, you know what? I don't care.
Honestly, no. Yeah. I care what God thinks, and my family and my close friends, and honestly, everybody else. If they don't agree with what we have to say, that's not our problem.
No.
That's something that you and one day the big man
We'll have to discuss yourselves.
Y'all are going to have to figure that out.
But while we're here, we're going to do His work, and we're going to talk about Him, and we're going to talk about why it's so important. And why it's so important is because without Him, life is meaningless. Yeah. And we're not the first people to have figured this out.
Definitely not. Yeah. I mean, without God, like countries that don't have God at their center are like communist countries.
Yes.
Like the family falls apart. If you don't have God that builds on all of those things that we like to talk about, then they all just crumble. Like we're talking about the house that's crumbling. well, our house is crumbling in this country because God hasn't been put first.
Yep.
And that's why we wanted to start with God. Of the three things that we really focus on in our videos is because God is that foundation that we all need in our lives personally, but in our families and in the country.
Yeah, and if you do not have God, you have nothing. That's just as simple as that can be. And so we're not even trying to scare people. We're trying to tell you that's just as simple as it can be laid out for you. Yeah. If you feel like there's emptiness in your heart, you feel like you don't know what's going on, it's because...
What's that saying that people always say? Like, people try to fill that God-sized hole in their heart.
Yeah, the God-sized hole.
When you said that, it made me think
it's the truth, though. Yeah. You know, and you can try to fill it with material things, whether it's a car, a house, a boat, going out to eat, on the weekends, or going to sporting events, whatever. You can try and fill it with all these things. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're not going to really be fulfilled.
No, the only thing that's going to fill that hole is God.
And that's where, we talk about, there's been plenty of examples. You can talk to some of the most successful people in the world. Somewhere in their lives they find religion, they find God mainly. You
can get all the material things of this world, and it's not going to equal what you can get.
It's not. Unless they're really consumed by an evil power, the devil himself, and that's who they worship. They're still having a void. They still have a missing, and they're having to do things
to keep going
to feed that evil. Where like God, you don't have to. It's like the old. It's a native proverb. It's like feeding the good wolf and the bad wolf. Whichever wolf you feed is the one that's going to win the battle. Well, they keep feeding that one, but guess what? And if you know the story, if you've read the Bible, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you can feed that bad wolf all you want. Yeah. And if you're on his team, you're going to lose.
Yeah, God's going to win.
God's winning. Yeah. The results already been written. So which team do you want to be on? And what we found is there's one of the best examples of one of the best characters, I'd say, but best people in the Bible to learn from is King Solomon.
Oh yeah, the wise King Solomon knew so much and did so much in his life, and he did everything under the sun pretty much. And what did he find? God was the Almighty, no matter what else he did. Yep. So this verse from Ecclesiastes here, he said, "I observed everything going on under the sun, and really, it is all meaningless, like chasing the wind."
I love that verse because there's lots of people who talk about, like, when you're going after things in life and you're doing this, you truly are chasing the wind. So chasing the wind, as you would know, if you're chasing the wind, you're chasing nothing.
Yeah, you're never going to catch it.
You're never going to catch it because it's something that's unobtainable. And that's what a life without God is, an unobtainable life. And King Solomon just found that out after having the richest of all riches, had everything, the most beautiful women to, like, had the biggest castle, temple. Yeah. He had it all, and he knew at the end he had a void in his heart.
Think about this. He says, chasing the wind. You're chasing the wind. Why don't you chase the person who created the wind, or the being, the God that created the wind?
I like that. Yeah.
Don't chase the wind. Don't chase the things that God made. Don't chase the things of this world. Chase God. Chase the Creator. Yeah. That's how you really find meaning in life, is chasing God, chasing after God, chasing what God made you to be and made you to do in this world that He created. Like I said, Genesis, God created the heavens and the earth. He created all this. Like, you don't need to go after the things that He made. Go after the one who made them.
Yeah, I like that because going after things, it's like trying to solve the problem by, like, focusing on the problem. It's like, why would you not try to solve it with the resolution? And what is the resolution? It's God. It's that simple. Well, that's, like, honestly, we wanted to start this series, keep it so simple for y'all, but it's like the most important things to us is God, family, country. And God is the utmost of importance. Yeah. And without Him, we have nothing. Me and Jarrett would have nothing. Our friendship wouldn't be where it's at. Our brotherhood, our blood isn't here without God. And everything we fight for now, and what we're fighting for the future, and everything we do, whether it's being our rebel selves or
for our posterity.
Yeah.
I like that word. I've been hearing it a lot lately. I've been listening about the founding fathers in 1776 and stuff, and being a rebel. But your posterity, like, you want to raise them up to know God. Yeah. Posterity means your family, your future lineage.
And speaking of that, we'll be getting into the family next week about the next most important thing to us. Yeah. And it all comes back centered from God. And they're all correlated together. But next week we will...
You can't talk about one without talking about the other.
Exactly. And we even talk about the country tonight. Yes. So next week we'll be getting on family, but this week we want to talk to you about God. So we hope you enjoyed this first part of our 3-part series of God, Family, Country. And next week, we should have some good stuff for you about the family.
Yeah, we definitely will. Well, I hope you guys have a great week.
And God bless y'all.